The Michael Labersi. How are you on this lovely sunny day?
Fantastic. It is very sunny out, sunny but cool, and I'm loving this time of year. It's amazing.
Gotta love the clean weather. You guys are what? Well, I should ask you what sports you're not playing right now with the boys, but what are they up to right now?
So we're rolling with tail end of fall baseball. Football's wrapping up, switching into I think next week basketball tryouts. So basketball's coming up, and got to look into something for my oldest too, whether he's doing basketball or not. I got to figure that out. Right now, we're going into that basketball mode. I always love this time of year because it starts to you really get to explore the outside in a different way. The fading temperature, the cold, and crisp, clean evenings, if it's not raining like crazy. And then you're transitioning that inside, but you're pre planning, right? Like basketball's all inside. It's still weekends, it's still a couple nights a week, and it's all inside. And it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be there. But like last night, for example, nobody had practice, so we just did an athletic workout outside. It was amazing. I was driving all day yesterday. It was a long day, and got the kids outside, and it was just like epic under the lights. It was so fun. We had a blast. We were out there for like 2.5, 3 hours. It was awesome.
Nice, man. That's that. Well, and staying consistent. It's staying consistent in that. So I'm gonna tie it back to what I want to talk about today. But one of the places you guys play in basketball, and we talked about this a lot last year, you and I offline. You guys play at a gym that the whole facility was donated by one particular individual. He's got his plaque on the wall there at the gym, and it's because he sold his. It's a meat processing company that he
Yeah.
basically did, but it's he's making sausage and salami and doing all the cool stuff. And so, how many years did that business exist before he sold it and made
Hold
it?
on.
It was insane. There's a
He
whole
sold
story behind this.
hold on. He sold recipes and a mailing list. Zero hard goods. Zero. He sold IP for an obscene amount of money.
Intellectual property for everybody.
He sold intellectual property for an obscene amount of money. And the guy has put more kids through, schools, and he sponsors scholarships and everything else. I mean, it's fantastic. This guy, you'll figure it out if you follow us along. This guy named Lou, he's an awesome guy. I know the dude. He lives 10 minutes from me. He's a great guy.
The dude's
Yeah,
getting.
he
So, how
donated.
many years? I got a couple questions for you. How many years did he have to build that intellectual property before it sold for literally a stupid amount of money?
Probably 25, 30 years, maybe
25, 30
40.
years it took him to build it. Cool. Which I think, which, yeah,
Relationships. It was
yeah,
based on
the mailing
relation.
list, the recipes, all the stuff. He was in that business for 25-ish years, right?
Yep.
So, and now he has the opportunity, to Mike's point, he donated a building, like it's not just like, here's
The
your tough
money,
shed.
the money
This
to
is a
redo a building
facility.
and build onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, and built onto it. And he's scholarshiping kids, and he's donating back to the community. He's got a huge purpose, a huge why in what he's doing. So I mean I'm going to tie that into last week, but I want to go with where I'm going now. So I
Oh,
want to talk about the lie behind the
hold on.
lie.
I've got
Hit me.
I've got another one for you, real quick. My other son's high school just got the largest donation from either a fund or some family that went to this high school. $20 million donated to improve the theater and arts department. $20 million, the largest high school donation to date, I believe.
That's
It,
amazing.
it's amazing. I mean, I could go on and on. I'll have a separate episode about, what, as a matter of fact, that's going to be one of our episodes, is make it, donate it. And we'll talk all about that. I can't wait to
Oh
go
yeah,
into
the
that.
feeling. Well, and there's a psychological component that goes into that. Like, we're going to precursor this a little bit. There's a psychological component that goes into that. There is a mountain of research that actually suggests in physics, the more you give away, the more you get. Like, it's an astounding formula to look at.
Well, what about that? You can't go broke enough to make somebody else rich thing.
It's yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna roll on that one. So what I want to talk about though, and based on, I wanted you to hear, it wasn't totally set up that way, but that worked, was I want you to hear what it took and from a conventional methodology to create legacy money, legacy money to where this guy is donating and doing amazing good for his community at this point, and he keeps getting it. So I want to talk about the stuff I've been seeing lately. So obviously, I've been posting and working really hard on social media side with the new books coming out and different things, and we're doing. So I'm spending more time on social media than I want to because I'm researching market conditions and what's going on. I have to look at what other people are doing. And I am seeing a monstrous amount of BS showing up that it astounds me. And a lot of it is oh, well, hey, I make $25,000 a month and all I had to do was, go to Canva, download a template, sell a calendar, or all I got to do is this one little thing. And they're talking about these get rich quick, and they're schemes, man. They are straight up schemes. And there's a few of us that are talking about this. And I listened to one yesterday that was just called it out, and it was hysterical to me. I was laughing so hard. But there's this desire to escape the 9 to 5 grind, as it is called, and become a semi-retired or almost retired entrepreneur that, in a heartbeat, in 3 to 6 months, that they're going to retire and have stupid amounts of money to be able to give away and do that stuff. I'm calling BS on it, Mike. I am calling BS on that stuff. And that's so I want to hear from you what you're seeing out there as well. And based on your knowledge, what's broken about that?
Okay, so I have the exact answer to all of this. Uh, so this all
He does. And if you
starts
want to make 25,000 a month, he'll sign you up for your $4.99 program.
right. I do have the answer. Just go to total-disruption.com and say winner. All right. So no, in all honesty, this started with direct response marketing, and it started with the education of people selling online courses. And guy I reference him all the time. His name's Frank Kern. He did an amazing job, and I mean a beautiful job of educating people on how to sell online. Before this thing was popular, he was doing mail order catalogs for, like, I think it was dogs or birds, where he had assembled something, and the guy was doing a newsletter and making like 100 grand a month way early on. Genius guy, pioneer. Check him out. He's selling like the AI thing now. This guy sold multi-millions of dollars. What one of Frank's ways to sell, and he aggregated it from a bunch of different people, Jeff Walker, all these other guys that are out there, Dan Kennedy. There's a timeline process by which people can achieve a goal. And there are certain steps you must take in developing a business, marketing a product, creating education, distributing education, acquiring education. You can do a couple things. You can charge somebody for a whole thing. You can give away a piece and upsell the rest. You can give everybody everything and then charge for a missing link. And the rates and whatever you're going to charge are all relevant to A, whatever you want to put the price on, B, the opportunity, C, your credibility, and D, your likability, right? So with all of those factors in mind, people are now morphing in social media posts doing that exact formula. It's the exact same formula. Somewhere down the road, someone is going to ask you for money to help shortcut a blown switch. Or while you've gone down the road now and you've spent 20 to 25 hours trying to figure this out, realizing, let me give somebody a DM, the pitch is there. It's not easy. You still have to do the work, but they're honestly trying to get you to buy something. It's not all that it cracks up to be, because what happens is if you're trying to work 9 to 5, and then you're trying to work 9 to 2, and then you're trying to work 10 to 1, you're going to work 3 times as hard trying to work 10 to 1 as you did working 9 to 5. It can be done, but a lot of it is kind of just bullshit. I'm not going to lie. So when you hear me break down the timeline formula and then solving the problem and when and where to say, okay, buy this piece, pay me more for this piece, pay me even more for this piece, or get the whole set for this, or here's the whole set. However, I left out the fact that you need to be able to roll the windows in the car down. I've given you the entire car, You've got no air conditioning and no ventilation. I'm going to charge you for that. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
It's a
When we
nice
talk about,
analogy.
yeah, it's somewhere it's going to happen. Nobody's making 20,000 a month without either investing in marketing, completely investing in leveraging social media, creating a following, no one is doing that. Especially when you see an ad telling people that they don't use social media. It's like you're advertising on social media. What do you mean you don't use social media?
Right? Yeah,
Pay for
very
a year?
contradictory.
You're using social media right now. Anyway, so when you hear me walk through that timeline, what is your echo on that one?
And it's true. Like there's we can go back to some of the old sayings like it takes money to make money. Um, and I would say that that is true and untrue. I would adapt that saying to the either it takes time or money to make money is what I would say about that. Because you're either going to exchange your time for money and then take that money to make money, or you have money and you're going to make use that money to make money. So that and that's where so many of these individuals, and I've never heard of them. You can't research them. You can't find them. You can't find a website. They don't have a Yelp review. Like there's a rabbit hole you can go down and starting to research who are some of these legitimate companies. And I this started because of obviously writing the new books. Mike and I are looking at some different publishing options, talking to different publishers, and so my social media feeds are loaded with, hey, we'll publish your book. We'll you pay us this much money. We in these 3 packages. We'll publish it, put it on Amazon. We'll put it on Barnes and Noble. We'll book you for some podcasts, and we'll do these few other things. Some of them go as far as to guarantee you we'll make sure you sell X amount of copies. I don't think they can actually do that. Like, there's no way in your genre you can say, I guarantee this book will. The only way they can do that is if they buy X amount of copies. They just buy them all. That's old school publishing stuff. But that's where I'm starting to see this is there's a ton of people that are taking money, doing the minimal amount of work to put it out there. And if you look at their ratings and reviews of the people that are doing it, man, there's some ugly reviews on a lot of these. So there's a cautionary tale in this. And they put on these, and I remember, I'm going to back up a little bit. So when I was actively selling real estate, when I was an active agent, he's still around, but there was a guy named Tony Giordano, and he wrote the book Social 2.0.
I
And
know
he
him.
wrote this book called Social Agent 2.0. So Tony, when he was a brand new agent, he had, and the story's great, and it worked for him. But this is what you're seeing. There's a phrase in the industry: "Fake it till you make it," and we've heard that in a lot of different places too. But Tony actually was living in his car, physically living in his car when he started out as an agent. And the dog is tired of this story too. He's over here digging a hole through the carpet. You can hear him. So Tony, there's nothing I can do about it, Mike. He is literally trying to he's just disgruntled. He's not outside again. So anyway,
Tony, get out of
totally,
here,
yeah,
man.
he's just derailing
Get
me.
it.
So Tony living in his car at this point. It's in his book, Social Agent 2.0. He wants to be a luxury agent, and he wants to give the perception that he is that luxury agent. He's making great money. He can speak the language with that particular clientele because that's a higher commission state for him. So what he's doing is he's finding these luxury listings. He's going standing on the other side of the street and doing a video about it so it looks like his listing. He goes and does a tour of the house. Like, he made it look like it was his listing. He wasn't saying this is my listing, but he gave the impression through his social media and through all his video work that it was. So when he built this giant channel of what looked like a ton of luxury listings. So then he finally got an interview for a luxury listing. He was able to showcase all the things that he had done. So it's a little bit of fake it till they make it. So the same is happening with some of these that are happening in this stuff is they don't have the background, the credibility, the backbone, whatever it is. But there's like anybody that's selling you the get rich quick scheme. Hey, give me $500 and you'll be a millionaire tomorrow. Man, you got to see through that stuff. That still
The
does
heavy
not
crypto
exist.
play.
Yeah, it just doesn't play. I mean, it's going to take time to build the things. It takes time to generate that. I mean, we've been, I'll give you the example. So the podcast, which you can find everything on www.total-disruption.com, find all the stuff that we've been building for the last couple years. And so the podcast, I don't even know, we're around 100 episodes right now of what this particular podcast is. We didn't start with 100 episodes. We had to record 100 episodes to get here. That didn't just exist. And we've had to rewrite titles. You have to go back and work on some of the old stuff. You have to rebuild your foundational stuff. You've got to keep working on the thing to get there. Now, can you go find, I saw this morning, I think we have 358 videos on our YouTube channel that we have on there. And none of them are created by, none of them are cats and nothing weird. It's all Mike and I talking. I mean, it's a lot of time that we built the thing. It takes time to build it. And that's our goal, is to build something that someday there's an exit strategy, that it's legacy money, that it is something that exists, such as this guy that sold the IP, right? He sold that intellectual property. That's what we're building. It takes time to build that. And it's a hockey stick effect, right? You've got that gradually, then suddenly. And so many people right now I want the big money right today. Well, we've talked about that before. What happens to those people when they get the big money today? They're broke tomorrow because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to reinvest it. So I know we're like totally sideways on the rails, but like, I just wanted to call some of that out, that I've been seeing so much of it online. It's just eating up my social media feed.
Well, it's a front end offer, and that's really what it is. And we're in the coaching and marketing space. So, we're always throwing out offers, come and DM us. Speaking of which, you want to get on this thing, no strings attached, no pitch, DM on our social media and we'll get you on Total Disruption. We'd love to just coach with you. And if you like our action, maybe you'll sign up for what we've got going on. If you don't, then you don't. We're not promising anything. It just doesn't matter, right? Do it, don't do it. Come hang out with us. That's what we want to do, is build that world, build that community for you, not for us, for you. And that's why we do what we do. So it's a front end offer. And the balance is, though, you can't be the best kept secret. So I'm gonna back up and say you can potentially change your offer, and by saying you're gonna get people rich quick and they raise their hand, out of every 10 people that raise their hand, you probably have 2 that stick through the end. There's reasons why there's certain 45 to 50-minute presentations. It's not to bore people, it's to see who really wants it at the end. There's certain hurdles you're trying to achieve when you're marketing, and it's a version of direct response. Direct response means I put out something, I get a reaction from you that either gets me closer to another reaction that gets me closer to a transaction. And with direct response, it's clever, it's smart, it's the way to go. Whereas if you have billboards, now there's QR codes you can snap and direct and see. That's a version of direct response. Or a television commercial without a QR code, that's not direct response, right? That is not direct response. That's just broadcasting. That's a branding idea. That is building brand and psychological brand. And then typically you should be following that up with direct response, right? So this is all a giant play on direct response, trying to get somebody, you, the consumer, to take action to get one step closer to a transaction. But it does get murky. It does get muddy, because people who are in a vulnerable state never take 2 steps back and say, what's the catch? It's like when you and I were talking about the land buy deal.
Mm-hmm.
What's the catch? Give me $1 million. Great. You're going to sell all this public land off and I'm getting $1 million. How long? One and done? Maybe, like we talked about, Alaska's not getting money because of the fund wasn't doing well. Okay. Well, what's the trade-off? If you're going to try to be able to get me to go from being a auto mechanic to selling cell phone cases and retiring by next January, okay, that's an enormous learning curve.
That's a gap.
It's so simple. You duplicate the simple formula. But are you going to get bored of that? Are you going to start self-sabotaging? Do you have any things in place that when you got miserable wherever it is you are you doing anything to safeguard your mind, to safeguard your life, to safeguard your routine from just getting bored again? A friend of mine
That's
told me that um, a co-parent of hers, a co-parent, not domestic spouse, but a co-parent, it has been between jobs, and one was a plumbing job, one was a framing job, and the other one was electrician. It's kind of like if you're not if you're chasing, if somebody kind of grabs your attention with a opportunity, and you kind of have that fiddlestick sort of attention span, you're going to be uprooting your time, energy, effort for what? So if you do happen to fall for one of these deals, or there is appealing marketing, or there is an appealing result that creates an internal conversation that makes you take the leap because you're desperate, and then you realize, oh, this isn't what I thought. That's what we're trying to warn you on. Everything's got a thing. Everything has something that's a drawback. Everything has something that is counterproductive. Every reason you're bored now is the same reason you're going to be bored when you get what you want, right?
I think that boredom. I agree with that, right? I think that's a
As you should, I
I
said.
think some people use the word complacent, but I would agree with bored, right? People are just, I'm just tired of this 9 to 5 grind. Well, here's the other big lie let's break through that one. Like, if you don't want to work from 9 to 5 in a day job, you are sure as hell not going to want to do what it takes to be an entrepreneur when
No,
you don't have a day job.
not
Because if
even
you're tired
close.
of working 8 hours a day, you're going to hate the fact you got to work 12 or 14 for however many years it takes to build that funnel, to build that pipeline. And you've got to keep doing it. You have to sustain it, like Mike is saying. I mean, recently, as he is well aware, like my roster shifted, my coaching roster shifted, and it does every year this time of year because it's the end of the fiscal year for large corporations. So they're making budget decisions based on the next year. So I always expect some turnover and some influx and some people moving in, some people moving out. The rest of the year, my roster doesn't move, but always in the fiscal year, this time of year, this is when it moves. And you've got to know that. So, but it's not a matter of I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to sit here and wait for the roster to recover, or I'm going to wait for the other thing to recover. I still have X amount of hours in the day that I have to put in to get the result that I want to get.
And that's just what happens with people. And the 9 to 5 scams, or the direct response marketing overreach, or the ideas behind some of these social media things, you got to back yourself up. Like, if I have to have a coaching point for somebody, you got to back yourself up a little bit and say, okay, I'm seeing an awful lot of this. How did I get here? How did I get this on my feed? And before you know it, the feed will change, and you'll shift into a whole different attention span, guided by somebody else, and adjusted by somebody else. And then you have to self police and say, oh, let me get a piece of paper out here, and if I did decide to start selling headphones or phone cases on Amazon store, how does that even work? Like, let me put that in the
E-courses
Gemini.
work, man. I don't care what
Well,
it
let
is.
me put that in the Gemini. Like, how many units do I have to sell to make retirement money? Whatever someone's trying to say, if I have a coaching business, all right, how am I going to fulfill that? How am I going to fulfill the demand? How am I going to get it done? What vehicles and tools? What's the front end investment? Because nothing's free. Shit, even if you're just doing group phone calls, you still have to have a cell phone bill. You have to have a way to get people on these calls. They have to have the basic fundamentals like a cell phone to call you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of details involved that can be quickly and easily uh, looked at and observed by just jotting some things down. And if that's still for you, go down the road, explore it.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
we're
buy.
a great examples Battleground, right? So we're in the process of remodeling Battleground because there were things season one finished. It's awesome. We love it. You guys can check it out. And there's some things that came up post production that when we were looking at these, larger companies that, are going to run this show out, like, okay, from a filming perspective, we need A, B, and C to occur. Well, that sounds simple from their side, but on the initial design of what Battleground was, A, B, and C are not going to work. So we have got to redesign it. We've got to remodel it in a way of how are we going to facilitate that?
Well, I
How
don't
are
know
we
that
going to do it so the audience, that person's getting what they want?
I
So
don't
it's
know
the
if it's a
same
full
thing.
remodel though. I think it's an adjustment
Oh, it's
because
an
the thing
adjustment.
about
No,
Battlegrounds, yeah.
yeah, that's fair to say. It's not a full remodel. I mean, we are like, okay, if you're looking at a house, we are currently updating the bathroom.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
what we're working on. We're not gutting the house to the
Yeah. I
studs and
don't.
starting over.
Well, and also buyer beware. I mean, listen, we could that'll be our next episode. Is all right. Stop rebranding. We don't want to be into rebranding. That just means you're in trouble. Like when you say I'm rebranding, it's fine if you're rebranding from selling garage doors to selling commercial garage doors. If you're, you know, tuning up cars to now you're painting cars, that's a rebranding within. That's not, hey, I suck at
It's
this and I'm
in
going to rebrand
industry.
because I'm upstart.
Yeah, within the channel. No, I agree, Mike, and that's so. There's the truth bomb on that is where Mike was making the reference earlier. If you're a mechanic and you're going to start selling cell phone cases, it's a full rebrand. That's a relaunch. That's a full startup from a different thing. If you're going if you're going to add a service, that's a little bit different.
Then tell
If
it.
you need
Well,
to,
but
yeah.
if you are going to rebrand, tell a damn good story behind why. I just got so sick and tired of this, and bang, I got into that. You know, tell a good story. Anyways, we're running out of time, dude. We got to
We
roll.
are. I'd love to hear. We're going to hear that story next time. So, hey, on behalf of Michael Mercy, check us out on the websites total-disruption.com. It is your turn to disrupt.